this year, Florida farmers harvested some pretty big strawberries. I'm talking about strawberries that's big enough to fit into the palm of my hand. It's almost comparable to a size of a regular size orange. Large strawberries. Are they normal? I headed out to Wimauma, Florida to speak to a strawberry farmer to find out what's the deal with these big old strawberries.
This is an average of an acceptable number of berries in a container. 24 is real good count. You got mediums, a few large ones. Now you get down here on 14, whoa, it's still the same size container, but there's only 14 fruit in it. Yeah, they're bigger, but believe me, very few people can put all that in their mouth at one time. I got a wholesome berry right here. Looks good. Watch it.
Now, Carl explained that the very first berry that sprouts from a strawberry plant is usually big in size.
Look at the different size fruit on here. Yeah. Now, look, you got a little one, you got a huge one, medium size, different ones.
But there is a 6-step process to getting the perfect strawberry to a hearty proportion. And it all starts in a lab at the University of Florida's Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences. Step 1, cross-pollination.
The first thing that we do is to select a flower that is semi-open. We take the sepals and the petals out of the flower, and that process is called emasculation.
Pollen from a male strawberry plant is then applied to the emasculated female strawberry plant. After 3 weeks, scientists check to see which plants are starting to bear fruit.
They take those fruits to the lab, and in the lab, the fruit is blended, and the seed that sinks into the blender is then taken to the fume hood to do the treatment of esterification.
All right, this is basically the seed that we get blended from blended strawberry. At this point, we want to take the outer layer from the seed so it would germinate faster. We put it in sulfuric acid for up to 10 minutes. This will then release the layer, and you get this seed that will germinate in 2 to 3 weeks compared to 2 to 3 months.
And that process is called?
Scarification.
Scarification.
Yes.
I didn't know what that was. Now I'm smarter. Step 3, plant the seeds.
We plant the seed in these trays. And here you see the name of the cross, and you see the mother, and you see the father.
After 3 weeks, the plants are then transferred to pellets.
These pellets are very hydrophobic. We put them in water, and they grow to a size of maybe 1 inch or 1.5 inches. And then this has all the required nutrients and to make that seedling to grow for about 2 or 3 months. These pellets are very organic because this skin is potato skin, so they degrade in the soil very, very fast. Thank you, Mariel and Manuela. We are selecting the plants based on flavor, based on the size of the plant, based on the yield of the plant, the color of the fruit, the resistance to the diseases and the pathogens that are in the air, and resistant to the rain.
Step 5, cloning runners.
When we propagate the plants by clonally, we take this, we can cut this part here and put this on soil, and it will grow a new plant that is totally similar to this one because it's the same DNA. So this is the way we propagate this plant into thousands of plants.
Why do you call that part runner?
Runner, because it runs. Once the plant is here, it starts running and producing 1, 2, is the way that is called in the field, runners.
Step 6, test, ship, grow, and return to Florida. You see, from those runners, scientists cut a small piece of the stem, and then they take it to the tissue cultured lab.
And this is an example. They're very tiny. We put the meristems in these containers with media, and they grow. And as they grow, we move them into bigger containers.
You put them in there with what?
Media. Media is, you can think of as like jello, but it has vitamins, it has sugar, it has nutrients for the plant. Eventually they would look like this.
Okay.
And then like this. So.
It's like a chia pet, right? Right? Okay.
So the plants that we put in here in vitro are the ones, the selections that will have potential to become cultivars.
Scientists then test each potential cultivator for viruses, bacteria, and fungus. Once the plants have a clean bill of health, they are placed in test tube, nutrients, and shipped to nurseries in California, Canada, and North Carolina, where they can grow in milder weather. Because after March, Florida is just too hot for strawberries to grow.
These are the plants that the nurseries will receive, and they are the mother plants that they use to propagate the plants that growers plant here.
Here, as in Florida. You see, once the mother plant starts to grow in the nurseries in California, Canada, and North Carolina, they send them back to Florida so the strawberry farmers can then plant them in their fields. You can call the 6-step process breeding strawberries, but it's nothing new. The process has been around for centuries. The 1930 Plants Patent Act allowed it to start in the United States. Now, I know what you must be thinking. There's a lot that goes into growing a strawberry, but try not to overthink it. For people who are not necessarily familiar with the whole process, what can you tell them to ease their mind?
If you buy the berry and carry it home, and it didn't taste as good as you thought, you probably got the wrong one. Get the other one there and try it.
Okay.
Then after a while, you eat the whole thing there, and you know that some of them had to be better than the others.